This morning when I came in, Roser was telling me about PJ Haggerty from the University of Memphis getting named to the second-team All-American list for the Sporting News.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, obviously Mike DeCourcy was a long-time Memphis writer. I'm sure he still has something to do with this at the Sporting News. But the Sporting News has lost intense relevance over the years, right? People don't. That's the first time I can remember you referencing the Sporting News to me in years. Okay? No disregard to them. I'm just saying. It used to be one of the biggest, I was like Sports Illustrated, Sporting News, or, Street and Smith, right? Like back in print media days, right?
Yeah.
But I should not. What I'm gonna say here is we should not just disregard this, because what I did not realize until our boy Parth put this up is there are consensus All-Americans that are named at the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
Well, a consensus All-American means everybody named you that. Okay? The two different writers associations, the NABC and the USBWA, those are that just means the writers.
Esteemed writers.
Right? Yes.
The writers.
Right. The AP.
Yeah.
And the Sporting News. Like, those are the four. The Sporting News is a
still
part of
stamped.
that.
It's still stamped.
So if PJ Haggerty was on the second team of the Sporting News one, you have an opportunity to become a consensus All-American. You have an opportunity to become a consensus All-American by being named in all of these different things. So one down, right?
Let's go.
On
He
that one.
joins Eric Dixon from Villanova, Cam Jones from Marquette,
Yeah.
John Tanji from Wisconsin, and JT Toppin from Texas Tech on the second team.
All right. So Memphis has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's been 6 ever.
Like All-Americans or first team?
At the consensus.
Consensus.
Consensus All-American.
CDR.
Okay,
At the
CDR.
University of Memphis. Chris Douglas Roberts did it in 2008.
Penny Hardaway.
Penny Hardaway did it in 92, 93.
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee. Now check this out. You're gonna love this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love these stats. These are cool.
Keith Lee did it 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
1983, 1984, and 1985.
Wow.
Okay, now listen to this. I went back and looked these up, okay? So the 82-83 All-American, he was first team, then he was second team, then he was first team.
Yeah.
The first team in 82-83, Keith Lee, Dale Ellis, Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Ralph Sampson, Sam Perkins, Wayman Tisdale.
Wow. That's a squad.
Listen to the second team.
Squad.
John Paxson, Clyde Drexler, Darrell Walker, John Sunvold, Sidney Green, Randy Whitman, Steve Stepanopovich. Okay, that's in 82-83.
Yeah.
I mean, Clyde Drexler was second team.
Yeah, right.
All right, 83-84. So that's the next year.
Yeah.
So Keith Lee was on the second team that year. The first team, which he did not make, Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, Sam Perkins, and Wayman Tisdale.
Wow.
Second team with Keith Lee included guys you would have heard of: Michael Cage, Chris Mullen.
Michael Cage used to call Grizzlies games.
Michael Cage calls Thunder games.
He calls Thunder games now. Yeah.
And then 84-85, Keith Lee. So no disregard for making the second team in 83-84.
Right.
That is absurd. 84-85, he made the first team again. Johnny Dawkins, Chris Mullen, Keith Lee, Patrick Ewing, Wayman Tisdale, Xavier McDaniel.
Okay.
X-Man.
And then on the second team, amazing. Pearl Washington, Mark Price, Len Bias, Kenny Walker, John Koncak.
John Koncak.
From SMU.
John Koncak.
How about that? So anyways, 3-time consensus All-American, Keith Lee.
Okay, so we got
That's crazy.
We got CDR, Penny, Keith Lee,
Yep.
Larry Finch.
Larry Finch.
Larry Finch is 72-73. He made second team because the first team included David Thompson, Bill Walton, Doug Collins, Ernie DiGregorio, and Jamal Wilkes.
Larry Keenan.
Yeah, I said Larry King. Did Larry King make fun?
Larry Keenan did not make consensus All-American.
So we need one more.
No, you have.
we got 'em all.
You've gotten Lee, CDR, Finch, and Penny. You have 2 more. I said 6.
William Bedford
Tyreek
never made
Evans.
it.
Nope.
Bedford never made it, right?
Nope. These are guys listed as consensus All-Americans.
DeJuan Wagner didn't make all.
Wagner
No.
didn't make
DeJuan
it.
Wagner won an All-American.
Trying to think. These are all old dudes, I'm guessing.
Because the whole point of this is PJ Haggerty, if he was named in the sporting news, you
Andre
at least
Turner?
have a crack at becoming a consensus All-American, and Memphis has had 6.
Lorenzen.
Lorenzen Wright, 95-96.
Shout out Big Ren.
Was in the 95-96 NCAA season. The first team was, check this out. I'm going to love this.
Oh, 95-96. That's got to be an insane year. Vince Carter, Anton Jameson.
No. These are consensus All-Americans.
Oh, Jameson would have been later. Yeah.
Allen Iverson,
Iverson.
Kerry Kittles, Marcus Camby, Ray Allen, Tim Duncan, Tony Delk.
Golly.
Wow.
Listen to the second team. Danny Fortson, who was unbelievable at Cincinnati.
Yes, he was.
Danny Fortson, Jacques Vaughn,
Yeah.
John Wallace at Syracuse,
Yeah.
Keith Van Horn at Utah, Lorenzen Wright at Memphis.
Damn right. Shout out
Lorenzen
Ren.
Wright made it in 95-96. So you have Keith Lee, Chris Douglas Roberts. By the way, let
Larry
me give you
Finch, Penny Hardaway,
Chris
Lorenzen
Douglas
Wright.
Roberts. I'm going to give you his team. Chris Douglas Roberts was first team
Yeah.
in 07-08 with DJ Augustine, Kevin Love, Michael Beasley, and Tyler Hansborough.
Sheesh.
The second team was Chris Lofton, DJ White at Indiana, Luke Herringody,
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Roy Hibbert, Shane Foster at Vandy,
Yeah.
and Steph Curry at Davidson. Steph Curry was second team All-American.
Wow.
Consensus All-American. Okay? So you have Keith Lee, CDR, Larry Finch, Penny Hardaway, Lorenzen Wright. You are missing one, and I will tell you,
Will Barton.
it was not Will Barton.
It's not Will.
Thrill.
I thought Will might have made it his sophomore
He'd
year.
sneak on there,
His
maybe.
sophomore year, Will was really, really good. His sophomore year, he was awesome.
Because I don't think Chuck never
Andre
made it.
Turner.
Little General.
Not Andre Turner.
Cedric Henderson wasn't All-American.
Chuck never made it, right?
I don't think it was Cedric Henderson. Elliot Perry, did Elliot Perry make All-American?
Not consensus All-American.
Chris Garner wasn't. Cedric Henderson wasn't. Kelly Wise didn't.
D-Rose didn't.
All right, I'm going to get...
Derrick Rose didn't make All-American.
No. I'm going to give you a hint.
If it's Sean Banks, he was dude. He was National Freshman of the Year.
Sean Williams or somebody.
I will tell you, this is crazy.
Sean Williams, not a bad one.
Okay. Larry,
Rodney Carney.
2006.
Rodney Carney.
Rodney Carney was an All-American?
Rodney Carney was awesome, yes. That 2006 year, that is the year we had Sean Williams. We lost to UCLA. We had to play UCLA. We were the 1 seed. We had to play them in California in the Elite Eight. Rodney Carney was the best player on that team. He was a senior that year.
Carney,
Listen to
yeah.
this. Rodney Carney was second team consensus All-American.
Yeah,
Listen to this. First team that year.
yeah.
Adam Morrison, Brandon Roy, J.J. Redick, now coach of the Lakers,
Wow.
Randy Foy,
Villanova legend.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Sheldon Williams.
Sheldon Williams.
Candace Parker. He the one that flipped her.
Second team, Alan Ray at Villanova.
Villanova,
Let's
that
go.
Villanova team.
One of my favorite college players, D. Brown at Illinois.
With the Darren Williams,
Yes.
Luther Head. and
Luther
them.
Head, yeah.
That team was so
so
cool.
So cold, bro.
They were cool.
And they lost
Big
to that
shorts.
Kid. They
Shout
lost to
out to
that Carolina team was cool too that they lost to.
Alan Ray, D. Brown, Leon Poe at Cal.
Former Grizzly Leon Poe.
Ready for this one? PJ Tucker at Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
He still who just picked him up?
Signed with the Not Clippers, was it?
The Knicks.
The Knicks, that's right.
Knicks,
Yeah. Yeah, the Knicks. got
He's
him,
the
yeah.
new
Taj Gibson for
Yeah.
Tibbs. Yeah. He is.
Call that man.
Also on the second team consensus in 05-06, Rudy Gay
Yeah.
UConn, turn up.
and Tyler Hansborough.
I remember one of those UConn teams. That
Psycho Chief.
And
Man.
Rodney Carney.
Rodney Carney.
There have been 6 consensus All-Americans in Memphis basketball history.
You know, it would have been another one I would have guessed. I would have guessed next if it would have Carney. I was going to guess Chris Massey. I remember Massey's last year. He was awesome. The year we lost to Ike Diagu in Arizona State in the tournament.
I mean, that
the first
is-
round.
It is crazy.
Rodney
Yeah.
Carney.
Like, look, Finch, Keith Lee, Penny, Lorenzen, Rodney Carney, CDR.
Yeah.
Rodney
I mean, you
Carney.
got to think Rodney Carney's the most underrated Memphis player ever.
He might be the most.
No one
underrated.
would
He
ever
is.
get that.
And he was like
Rodney
Never.
Carney was the hooping them
and
long
it's
socks.
crazy. He was like a 3-star recruit, like a 2-3-star recruit.
Nobody would.
No.
I honestly, until I looked it up. So when you mentioned that Haggerty made Sporting News, and then I saw that like that actually matters.
Yeah, Sporting News
because
All-American matters.
it's part of being a consensus All-American. So then I typed in, I'm like Memphis consensus All-Americans, and of course I remember right, like none of those other names surprise you. None
Yeah.
of them.
No.
Right? Like these are all. When we talk about like legends of Memphis basketball, it's Larry Finch, it's Anthony Hardaway, it's Lorenzen Wright, it's Keith Lee, it's CDR. I mean, Rodney Carney being the 6th guy on that list is wild to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like
think-
people
I
don't walk around talking about
I
a
think
consensus All-American.
He might be one. He might be the most underrated Tiger ever. He might be.
Gotta be. He's gotta be.
He might be, bro. Because
Jalen just said in my headset he's my favorite Tiger ever, and yet he didn't guess him. he didn't guess. So, dude, I have somebody in my headset telling me that's his favorite Tiger ever, and he didn't even know he was a consensus All-American. You can't get more underrated
Right,
than your
underrated,
favorite, than your biggest fan not knowing your greatest accomplishment.
he's a Keenan Allen of the Memphis Tigers.
Crazy, right?
Shout out Rodney Carney, man.
His brother, hang on, so I'm looking at this. His mom was a world-class sprinter.
Yes, I do know that.
Okay, and she was going to compete in the 1980 Summer Olympics, except for there was the United States boycott. Dude, it says his brother is Ron Slay.
What the
From
deep-
Tennessee?
That's what his Wikipedia page says. Says his brother Ron Slay was a basketball star at the University of Tennessee. Ron Slay does like radio in Nashville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the afternoons.
I didn't know it was his
Bro, I wonder what
Rodney Carney was first in Conference USA in scoring in 04, 05, and 05, 06.
Yeah.
He scored the most points. He led the conference in three-point percentage in 05, 06. He shot 39% from. He also led both years in field goal attempts. He led in field goals. He led in three-point field goals. Kind of crazy, right?
And I believe there was one night when he signed a couple of 10 days with the Grizzlies. It was one night. He actually, I remember it. I think we were playing the Warriors. When he got up off the bench at the end of the game, we were beating the crap out of, I think, the Warriors. When he got up off the end of the bench of that game and got in the game, like, dude, the ovation was crazy in the arena. Because the Tigers at the time were the biggest thing in the city.
He played 133 games with Memphis
Yeah.
Dang.
and won 100. And 101. 101.
Rodney Carney
Played
so
133 games with Memphis and was a second-team consensus All-American.